Hi, this is Alex from Soundtoys Education, and I'm going to run you through the 3 delays that I use most often. The first one I'm going to go through is the Soundtoys Echoboy. This is my favourite delay by far. I think it's incredibly versatile for both normal delay reasons and for sound design reasons, and I use it for both music and sound design purposes. So I'm just going to set up a send now and create a channel with it on it. So give me a second. I'm just going to call it Echoboy. Find Echoboy. Boom. Now, what I love about this is the range of options you have in the way of things like what sort of delay you want, whether that be studio tape or like analog or more echoplex or just various different sorts and types of delay for multiple different applications. So you can have more of a chorusy sound with it, more of a transmitter, which is more of a preset on here, but it's incredibly versatile. You can do a lot here. You can either shuffle or swing it, you can rush it or drag it, you can sync it to the click of your host, and you've got other things like saturation, input and output controls. I know that some of these are universal amongst a lot of the delay plugins, but the other options and the styles, I think, for me personally, is what gives this delay an edge on the others. So you can have that analog thing, but you can also have it very digital and modern as well. So the standard thing I normally do, like if I'm just having it on a vocal or just like a little bit of delay or slap back, my go-to is like, here's a dotted eighth. So say if I just have this little loop here, on a percussion loop. If I have none, obviously you can't hear it, but blending it in. And I can also go in and adjust the feedback time here as well. So if I wanted to make it ultra. So that was only a basic example of what you can do. You can obviously adjust it in terms of time, in terms of note value or musical value. You can either add a dot or you can have a triplet in there as well. And there's like a small filter section as well where you can use either high pass or low passes just to sort of tweak the sound a little bit if it's too bright in the mix or if it's going to obscure anything else. There are other ideas and presets that they give you here, things like sound design ones, which can really experiment with different sorts of the delays and loops and all sorts of things like that. So you can have loads of crazy weird stuff going on. This delay also sort of acts as a reverb as well. It's a little bit of a line in between the both of them. I personally use a couple of the infinite reverb presets and things like that quite a lot for very ambient stuff, whether that be pads or whether that be really ambient guitars or backing vocals or whatever. And you can obviously adjust the feedback here, which almost acts kind of as a decay on a reverb. So in short, this delay is amazing, very versatile, used for lots of different applications, and I personally use it most of the time on a lot of different instruments and tracks. So that's my number one. I often, for my second one, I go to the H delay from Waves, which is a really nice plugin. I often sorry, let me just get it up on a send here. Now, the reason why I use this alongside the Echoboy is because I feel that this delay has a lot more of a mechanical sort of feeling about it. So it's very good with things like 16ths and occasionally 30 seconds there if you need, and also, you know, with quarters and eighths and stuff. So I tend to, just with my ears, there's only personal preference here, but there's most of the same controls, but I feel that this delay has much more of a mechanical vibe about it, which is why if I'm using it for quite a mechanical sound, then I would often go to this plugin for that. So say if I put it on 30 seconds, no, sorry, on 16, so straight 16, so 120. Let me just play one part. Okay, let me just find one little section of audio and we'll go from there just to really demonstrate it, just so you can hear it in a one-shot format. So you can hear it there. It's not that much of a demonstration, but you can hear how it sounds kind of slightly mechanical. And especially when you put that feedback up, it will really create a very pulsating sound, which if you want to render that in place or do anything like that, you can do that using this plugin. Now, I would normally use it very much for that application. Like if I have Echoboy on a lot of tracks already, and if I need that sort of sound, I would go to the H delay from Waves for that sort of thing. You can have a lo-fi option, there's a modulation section, there's loads of things like that. So if you want to go a little bit crazy on the sound design side of things, you can. I personally don't think it's as good as something like the Echoboy, but I would still use it in a session for different applications. So that's the second one I use, and the third one is, there's another one from Soundtoys again, and it's called PrimalTap. This one is an amazing delay plugin. If I'm honest, I often use it for a very experimental reasons. So it's really good for things like drones, really good for freezing, really good for very long extended delays, reverbs. It's one of these plugins again that very much crosses over in between that line. So I would often use it for quite a gnarly sound, quite a harsh sounding thing, especially when the feedback is all the way up. But if I just experiment with this loop again. Get this up. And then if I get, for example, freezing, you can really create some nice pads here. Let me just get a one shot again because this will explain it a lot easier. And as you can hear there, the tail is super long. This will literally go on for about 30 seconds to a minute. So you can see the purposes in that. It's a very interesting, useful, long sound design tool. So if you want to run your pads or anything, I'm gonna stop it because it's still going. So if you want to run things like your pads through it, or anything that's very ambient or very long, you can do that, and you can bounce it in place again and create some really interesting effects. Now, what's really great, especially with the Soundtoys stuff, is you can put them in an effect rack. So you can have the Echoboy, the PrimalTap, all these delays and reverbs and stuff, and create them in one separate rack. So it really makes it a useful way to kind of store, especially like all of your Soundtoys plugins. So that one is used for much more experimental reasons. I do often throw it on and see what comes out basically, but I do love like messing with the feedback functions, automating them, experimenting with all of that sort of thing. So those are my 3 delays that I use most of the time in all my sessions. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you like what we do, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button if you want to be notified of any future videos that we put out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.